Sonia has a question. We've then, I think, got one more from another one from the web, but let's take Sonia's question.
Okay, well, I think we could be here during hours talking about concerns, about fears, about trust. I just want to share a thought about this and move on to another subject that we touched very in the near. Let me share with you, I wonder if people want to be educated about all this stuff, because I'm not sure they want to be part of the process.
True, yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm an educator, as you saw. This could be a very low path to go, because people just want solutions for their daily life, but they don't want to be a part of the process, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. And I wanted to go back to Livio about something they talk, because I'm concerned also about mobility in towns, mobility in cities, and you talk about how 10,000 cars can provide enough energy to an amount of people, and I think that's amazing, and that's very interesting, but we've seen that cars and mobility is going through a transition as well, because they are going through being a product to be a service, like in car sharing, in bike sharing, and all that stuff. And in my sector, communication, television, communications, all of that, we've seen that verticalization of the companies where, for example, our telecommunications carrier are making content, are making films and TV shows and things like that. Facebook has just announced they're making TV shows as well. And Zeynep has pointed that they could go into energy business too, because that would be logical for me. And I was wondering, sharing all these thoughts, hearing all you, thank you everyone for saying this, if it won't be logical that, for example, energy companies could get into a cars company to be in both sides of the business, in the business that are providing energy to these cars and in the business that are giving these cars. Because I totally agree with you when you say it's not logical for most of the people, me, myself, to have a car that we use half hour a day and we use it by myself. So I think in the future I would use more, for sure an electric car, but maybe a car sharing system. So I was wondering about all of this and about what you're thinking like energy companies in all this stuff.
So we think that the digital infrastructure, as I said before, for sure is an enabler of this development for the electric cars. We started up some pilot projects talking about this ancillary service delivery to the networks in some countries in Europe, and there is a certain regulation coming up, and it will be possible really to use the car as an energy provider. It will come up over the time because due to the last crisis, financial crisis, to the last turmoil, the development of electric cars has been a little bit slowed, but it's coming up again. Every year we say the next year, but probably 2019 will be the year of booming for the electric cars. So we think we will build up a good infrastructure for developing it. We are not interested in as an energy company to go into the car market, not at all. We have established a new division called e-solution, able to deliver NLX, we called it also, able to deliver services, value-added services to the customers, and they are offering to the customer an infrastructure, a wall in the house, a local infrastructure or public infrastructure for developing it in order to have the opportunity to really manage the electric car. So it's always the question before the egg or the hen, no? If you don't have infrastructure, people are not confident to buy an electric car, and so if you don't have an electric car, we cannot build up infrastructure. But we are, on one side, providing a solution to the customer, including the infrastructure. On the other side, with the municipality, with the region and so on, we are closing contracts for building up together and infrastructure. We are proposing, for instance, in Italy to build with an investment of 300 million euros, 10,000 if I will remember of infrastructure, public infrastructure on the road. We have some European projects, again European Union is a little bit advanced in this area. We are working in a project called EVA, EVA Plus, when we are installing infrastructure of 100 kilowatt from the north of Europe, from Sweden down to the south of Italy. So there is a sort of move. Anyhow, we are not interested to go into the car business as a service in the future for sure. The solution probably will be, as we see, because we are cooperating with some new consortia or new companies which are offering this car as a service. I think probably will be the future. We are working with some companies mainly in Europe, but also in Santiago, in Chile. There is something going on in Brazil, something going on in Peru. And we see that young people, mainly, in the weekend, or people who are using the car only for a trip, on a daily basis, are preferring to use a car as a service solution. So we are working with them for building up the infrastructure and for delivering this service together with the consortia to the company, but not directly involved in the car business. Okay, that's it.
Understand the concept. Zeynep has talked about it, Livio spoke about it in his presentation, of the electricity company, the grid operator, as an enabler. So if you think about it in the context of the car business, there's a great story that I'll tell you. Our head of innovation and sustainability went to the Vatican with the country manager for Italy of, I believe it was Opel, the car manufacturer. And we went to go and present to one of the cardinals there this combination of the Opel car and the NL charging column, the infrastructure. And unexpectedly, a little door opened, and out walked a gentleman in white. It was the Pope. And he came up to Ernesto and the gentleman from Opel, and he said, tell me about this, what is it? So the guy from Opel told the Pope all about the car and the technology inside the car, and all of the different technical specifications. And then the Pope looked at Ernesto and said, can you tell me about the NL charging column? And Ernesto said, Holy Father, I'm not going to tell you about all the technical specifications inside the NL charging column. All I'm going to tell you is, if the NL charging column is not there, the car is not going anywhere. And it's so true, because our role here, the role of the energy company, the grid operator, is as an enabler. It's to deliver the infrastructure which is going to allow all of these different businesses, not just the car manufacturers, but lots of different industries, to be able to go in to this world of the Internet of Things, the digitized grid, and to be able to use it to deliver greater value to themselves as well as to the retail market, to their customers and to the population. We have one more question from the web, which I'd like to take. You would like to have a question as well?